A very warm welcome to APSC bro. Today we are going to do a video on a very important topic from prelims point of view, that is on environmental conventions and protocols. The questions that can come from this. Every year there are questions that comes from environmental conventions and it is repeated every year. And hence it's very important from prelims point of view. So let us proceed. The first question. Which convention deals with the protection of ozone layer? Okay, we know ozone layer, that is O3. It helps the earth, it protects the earth from the incoming UV rays from the sun. Okay, now which convention deals with the protection of ozone layer? And the correct answer is Vienna Convention. There is another convention which is related to ozone layer, that is Montreal Convention. Vienna Convention deals with the protection of ozone layer, and Montreal Convention deals with the substances that depletes the ozone layer. That means Montreal Protocol Convention basically particularly deals with the substances like hydrofluorocarbon which causes the damage of ozone layer, okay, and the control of these substances. So there are two conventions, Vienna and Montreal. Vienna deals with the protection and Montreal Convention deals with the substances that depletes the ozone layer. Okay. Next question. Which convention deals with the control of transboundary movement of hazardous waste and their disposal? Now, transboundary movement of hazardous waste means most of the materials, raw materials of finished goods across the globe is usually transported through the sea routes. Now, these sea routes are usually, the central sea routes are usually not under the control of a particular country. Now, to control this movement of certain hazardous waste so that they are not disposed into the ocean, so that it doesn't cause pollution, and that at least somebody is responsible to deal with all these things, there was a convention, and this convention is the Basel Convention. Okay. Next question. Cartagena Protocol is often seen in news, is related to which of the following? A. Ozone layer, B. Biosafety, C. Water pollution, or D. Wetlands. So the Cartagena Protocol deals with the biosafety. So how is the Cartagena Protocol related to biosafety? First thing, it was adopted in 2000. Okay, this protocol was adopted in 2000, and it is an international agreement that manages the movement of LMO, that is living modified organisms, that is the outcome of new technologies, biotechnology and other things. This modified organisms, the movement of this is controlled by Cartagena Protocol. This movement is controlled because it is believed that this kind of living modified organisms will affect the biodiversity of the places, and it will ultimately lead to certain outbreaks of certain calamities which has to be controlled, and this is controlled by the Cartagena Protocol. Okay. Now, which of the following protocols addresses the traditional knowledge associated with genetic resources with provision on access, benefit sharing, and appliance? Now, see, suppose the Ayurvedic knowledge that we have, traditional knowledge that Indian have. Now, suppose we know if we have some kind of fever or something, there will be always a Ayurvedic medicine or some herb or shrubs which is used by our forefathers, which our parents give it to us as a medicine. Now suppose there is one organization or one medical company who gets to know of this and they produces a medicine out of it and gets a patent on it. Now once they get this patent and other things, you might not be able to use it further without their permission. Now these are certain things which are repeatedly being focused in the international market, in the international business, and creates a lot of conflicts. Okay, so there is one protocol which deals with this, that whenever we are using traditional knowledge associated with genetic resources, there has to be provisions for the access so that everyone can get its access, so that the benefit is shared between all the shareholders, and the party who is actually producing it or using it complies with all the necessary regulations. Now this protocol is the Nagoya Protocol. Okay. Next question. Bonn Convention is often seen in news is related to option A genetic resources, option B migratory species, option C wetlands, option D mercury pollution. The correct answer is migratory species. So Bonn Convention deals with the conservation of migratory species of wild animals. It was adopted in 1979. Okay. Next question. Headquarter of IUCN is located in options are A UK, option B Switzerland, option C US, option D Germany. IUCN is International Union for Conservation of Nature. Okay, it is an international body which comprises of both governments as well as non-governmental organizations, and it is headquartered in Switzerland. There is a place called Gland in Switzerland. Okay. Next question. Which of the following adopted Agenda 21? Okay. Now, Agenda 21 it was adopted in First Earth Summit. This First Earth Summit is also known as the Rio Convention. Right? It is also known as the Rio Convention, and it was adopted in 1992. This Earth Summit or Rio Convention is one of the most pioneering and most ice-breaking conventions to take place towards the conservation of nature. In this convention, there were three conventions which were formed, okay, associated with the first Earth Summit. These are, first is UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This deals with climate change, very important convention. Second, Convention on Biological Diversity. Okay. Third, United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. So see, there might be a question, which of the following conventions were a part of the first Earth Summit? They are UNFCCC, that deals with climate change, second Convention on Biological Diversity, and UN Convention to Combat Desertification. So these three are related to first Earth Summit, and Agenda 21 was adopted in this Earth Summit. Okay. Next question. The Ramsar Convention is associated with the conservation of option A deserts, option B migratory species, option C wetlands, option D Arctic region. Okay. Now this Ramsar sites, we know this is one of the most popular conventions to take place and very important from Assam point of view because we have a lot of wetlands. So the Ramsar Convention deals with wetlands. Now, as far as the number of Ramsar sites are concerned, Ramsar Convention deals with the wetlands. What they do is that they declare certain wetlands as Ramsar sites. Once a wetland has been declared as Ramsar site, its conservation and preservation becomes the duty of that government. Okay. Now there are three Ramsar sites in Northeast. There are Diporbil in Assam, Loktak Lake in Manipur, and Rudrasagar Lake in Tripura. So there are three Ramsar sites in Northeast, and in total in India we have 54 Ramsar sites. Please go through the important Ramsar sites that has been recently declared by the Ramsar Convention. Okay, Ramsar sites of India. Okay. Next question. Which of the following deals with persistent organic pollutants? Persistent organic pollutants means the organic pollutants which stays in the nature for a long time. Options are Kyoto Protocol, Stockholm Convention, Montreal Protocol, or the Basel Protocol. So the answer is Stockholm Protocol. See, when I usually remember it simply, persistent means something which will stay. Stock means something which stays. Yes, stock. I'm stocking this, so it stays. So you can relate this. Persistent, stock, Stockholm. Okay. This is the easier way to remember it. This is my funda. You can use it or not. It's simply, I'm just giving you input. Okay. Next question. Which of the following deals with biosafety to the Convention of Biological Diversity? We have already discussed biosafety and biological diversity. What was it? It was Cartagena Protocol. Okay. We have discussed this in our previous question. Okay, next question. Kigali Agreement is an amendment to which of the following protocol? Option A, Kyoto Protocol. Option B, Cartagena Protocol. Option C, Montreal Protocol. Option D, Nagoya Protocol. Okay, Kigali Agreement is an amendment to Montreal Protocol. Now, first thing, what is Montreal Protocol? Montreal Protocol deals with all the substances that affects the ozone layer, right? That damages the ozone layer. Montreal Protocol deals with them. Now, Kigali Agreement is an amendment to that. It was adopted in 2016 and it came into force in 2019. Now, Kigali Agreement deals with a one particular kind of ozone depleting substance, that is HFC, that is hydrofluorocarbon, okay, which is basically used in now refrigeration systems. According to Kigali Agreement, all the member countries have to agree to reduce the consumption and production of hydrofluorocarbons by 80%, okay, in the next 30 years. So Kigali Agreement was an amendment to Montreal Protocol and it deals with hydrofluorocarbons in particular. Okay. So the correct answer to this question is the Montreal Protocol. Next question. The concept of carbon credit is associated with Kyoto Protocol, Earth Summit, Montreal Protocol, and Nagoya Protocol. Almost in every question that we have dealt with, you must have seen this term, Kyoto Protocol, because this is very important. Kyoto Protocol basically deals with the production of greenhouse gases and the climate change because of that. Okay. Now, what is the carbon credit system? Is that carbon credit system is something like this. According to this protocol, every country has been set a particular target that you can only release this much amount of greenhouse gases. One carbon credit is equivalent to 1 ton of CO2 or any equivalent GHG. That is, one carbon credit equal to 1 ton of CO2. Now, every country is given one particular limit. You can only produce this much amount of CO2 or greenhouse gas in this period of time. So they'll be given credit system like 10 carbon credits to India, 20 to US. I'm just giving an example. If 10 carbon credits is given to India, that means India can only produce 10 tons of CO2 in the next period of time. Okay, this is the carbon credit system. Suppose India got the permission for 10 ton, but it emits 12 ton of greenhouse gas. In that case, in the next period, it will be penalized by 2 tons. That means in the next period, it can only emit 8 ton. It works like that. Now, suppose India somehow manages to release or emit only 8 ton of GHG, so it will have a balance of 2 ton. So it can sell that carbon credit to another country which will need it, which might emit more than their limit. Okay, this is the carbon credit system and it is a part of the Kyoto Protocol because Kyoto Protocol deals with greenhouse gases and the climate change because of that. Okay, next question. Agenda 21 of Earth Summit is associated with, we have already discussed regarding Agenda 21 of Earth Summit. Yes, Earth Summit, you remember there are three conventions. Rio, popularly known as the Rio Summit, three conventions: UNFCCC, Biodiversity Convention, and a convention regarding desertification, right? What does this Agenda 21 of that Earth Summit it associated with? It is associated with sustainable development. Okay. Next question. The concept of protection of health and the environment from adverse effect of mercury is associated with, the correct answer is Minamata Convention. And this is also important because this is the only convention which deals with a particular kind of pollutant. Like all other conventions will have a blanket concern. Like greenhouse gas, there will be a lot of greenhouse gas under that, right? Or it will deal with this thing protection of wetlands, so it will deal with a lot of factors. This is the only convention which deals with one particular pollutant, that is mercury. So this is the Minamata Convention. Okay, so these are the questions that we have prepared from the environmental conventions for you. We'll be preparing more such important questions for the upcoming prelims examination. Stay tuned to our channel, like and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.